Okay, listeners, this is completely insane. Just moments ago, I took my hand off the button connected to the microphone, put down the stack of papers, and stood up. I walked the room again, looking for anything, a clue, a glitch in the code, something that might give me a hint about how I got here. Nothing. There is not even a crack in the walls, as there should be if I were sentenced to some sort of immurement. It's as if I subjected myself to this, which in itself is impossible, given there is no evidence to the labor that this would have created. So I sat back down to look at the only things here: a stack of papers, tape recorder, and a microphone on a table. I started looking through the papers again and found they had changed. The first page once had the words, "Please read," on it. Now it says, "Very good, more." Sure, whatever. Here's more. We start things off with the community calendar. Next Thursday, the Akron Semi-Public Library will be holding the first class in a series on email etiquette. The topic for Thursday's session will be how to successfully write a passive-aggressive email to your boss and still keep your job. Participants will learn how to use mildly upsetting language offset with exclamation marks, LOL, smiley faces, winking faces, and innuendo. I can't think of anyone who doesn't need a class like this. We all need a good lesson in passive-aggressive communications, unless you have something better to do that night. No, don't worry about it. I'm sure the event will have a great attendance without you. LOL. Cravings, everyone's favorite contemporary ethnic fusion restaurant, has announced its spring promotion schedule as follows. On Tuesdays, kids eat for free. On Wednesdays, seniors eat for free. On Thursdays, attractive Caucasian females drink alcohol for free. On Fridays, middle-aged individuals who have given up on their dreams eat for free until they realize they're not getting any thinner. On Saturdays, teenagers who ordered the baked chalupa are offered forgiveness. On Sundays, water is free for all patrons. On Mondays, opponents of all citizens' right to vote receive a free appetizer. On Tuesdays, kids still eat for free, but only if they clean up after themselves. Look for more specials coming up, such as a buy one, get nothing Mother's Day brunch. Next week, the Papa John's Event Center will be host to the 21st Annual Vintage Game Fair, featuring a wide variety of antique and classic games that have been enjoyed by children and adults alike throughout the decades. The Vintage Game Fair organizer, Chuck Fromage, is excited to present several new games that have been acquired in the past year. The first is Rattle Them Bones, a Southern favorite from the early 20th century. Produced by Hasbro, the game included small plastic bones that players would shake onto a game board. When the finger bones land in the red zone, all players receive good fortune for a year. If a toe bone comes to rest in the green zone, a player to your right is cursed for 30 days. If the nose bone lands between the afterlife zone and picnic time, all boy players must make an embarrassing confession about their family history, and so on. The game would end when the game board or any player spontaneously caught on fire. The original game was played with the bones of a most recently deceased relative, but this barbaric tradition ended when it was determined that all players wound up being cursed for playing with their ancestors' remains, which was a violation of Rule 24. This was a real fun one for many families, said Fromage. In 1919, little Bobby Barrington rolled his expired Nana's bones into all 4 color zones, which caused the entire city of Baton Rouge to vanish for a week. When it returned, the entire place smelled like broccoli, and everyone spoke backwards for the first couple days. One of Fromage's favorites is A Proper Lady, a 1950s game for teenage girls to practice the courting process. Players first had to choose from cards that had the boys that they could go on a date with. The options included guys like Johnny Wealthworth, who was a real catch, to Lousy Leopold, who had a premature mustache and a lazy eye. I would peep on my sister and her friends when they would play this game, said Fromage. Sometimes one would get to go on a date with Roger Muscleboat. Man, that guy had everything going for him. In the game, girls would have to decide what to wear on the date, and if they chose the right outfit based on what their guy liked, they would go on another date. Sometimes the game had very real consequences. Choosing the right outfit on 5 straight dates meant that you had an eye for fashion, but also got you labeled as a tramp. If a player were to pick the right outfit on 10 consecutive dates, that player would miraculously become pregnant in real life. Fromage is also showcasing a simple one-person card game from the 1960s called Relax, Everything Will Be Fine. The player would begin by shuffling the deck and dealing himself 3 cards. Each card has a simple command, like, Prepare for War, You Saw Nothing, or It is Time to Pay Your Taxes. The player didn't have to do anything. He just had to read the cards and memorize their messages. The player would keep dealing himself cards until he got the card with the words, Obey the Government on it. This was an action card. After receiving it, the player was to go directly to the household closet 2-way mirror, hold his breath for 20 seconds, and stare directly at himself. As the instruction manual specified, there is nothing to worry about. Just do as you were told. Short memory loss may occur. This is normal. The instruction manual also provided steps on how to speak Russian and a step-by-step guide to making an explosive from household items. Relax, Everything Will Be Fine ended when players woke up on the streets of Stalingrad with a bloody nose. Come on out to the Vintage Game Fair and check out these classics and many more. And now, the news. The mayor's office denied the existence of werewolves on Tuesday. The announcement was followed by a small protest outside City Hall by the werewolves, who held signs that read, We exist, look, I'm right here, and seriously, I just ran into the mayor at Starbucks last week and he asked me how my family was and said we should get together over the holidays. The city waste office is asking residents to stop throwing out so much garbage. A city worker was quoted as saying, It used to be the trash cans were overflowing after Christmas. Now it's like every week the trash is falling out the top. The garbage collector continued by saying, Why do you need to throw all this stuff away? You're just going to buy more crap to replace it. Have you tried investing in your retirement instead of collecting IKEA furniture that gets thrown out 5 years after you buy it? There are some very lucrative, high-yield mutual funds right now. If you balance your portfolio based on your risk tolerance and investment goals, you can really come out ahead. The Akron President's Council announced that all citizens are now required to perform the Ohio State OHIO once a day, preferably facing south and in a designated space marked by the State of Ohio seal or under a buckeye tree. Akron President Robert Bourgeois made a comment to the press about this new requirement. We saw the importance of celebrating our state once a day instead of the previously mandated once a week after multiple surveys showed us that most residents were only doing their OHIOs before bed in the privacy of their own homes, which negated the value of public OHIO displays. It is important that we practice our OHIOs daily, where our coworkers, friends, and family can watch and post on social media sites, said President Bourgeois. Any residents who are found guilty of not performing a daily OHIO will receive a community service assignment for the first offense, a $5,000 fine for the second offense, and death, humiliating death, for a third offense. Keep those O's round, folks, President Bourgeois reminded us. The John Stamos Fan Club of Akron, Ohio, has made the news again. The club has made a public announcement that it is challenging the Eric Estrada Fan Club of Akron, Ohio to a cockfight. The fight, if accepted, would take place during the Lower Akron Friday night cockfight. The Eric Estrada Fan Club of Akron, Ohio has not responded to the challenge, but is not expected to accept, since the club's star fighting rooster, Screech, has been out of action for 2 months with a sprained knee. PETA has denounced the challenge, but also put $50 on the John Stamos Fan Club rooster Danny, in case the fight does happen. Have you seen that bird? Said a PETA spokesperson who wished to remain anonymous. Peck and dodge, then shift and thrust straight for the kill. Best bet I've ever made. The Lower Akron Friday night cockfights are held in the basement of the Punk Rock Lutheran Church immediately following the young adult potluck. The mayor's office made a special statement about things that are sexy, but you didn't realize it. This ought to help light the fire for all you crazy romantics out there. Here are the things that are deceptively sexy. Earthworms. Mustaches. Role-playing games. Tie clips. Cheetos. Crown molding. Oscar Wilde. Google Maps. Dovetail joints. The mayor's office also compiled a list of things that are not ever sexy no matter what. That list includes cashews, Rutherford B. Hayes, drain stops, whistling while you work, ball-peen hammers, 1-800-CASH-NOW, werewolves. The mayor's office would like to remind you that these are matters of fact, not opinion. Anyone who says otherwise is subject to arrest. And now, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever owned a car that drives so perfectly you forget you're driving? A car that adjusts its performance based on your driving style? A car that hugs every curve? You haven't until you've driven the new Audi Revenge 250. A car like this deserves attention. It demands respect. This car is your new best friend. You had a best friend once before. You remember Matthew in the 3rd grade. The two of you did everything together. You were on the same soccer team and even had an art class together. You collected garbage pail kids together. There was that time when you lost your Potty Scotty card and Matthew gave you his, no trade or nothing. Then Matthew started hanging out with Doug Park in the 5th grade. Yes, the same Doug Park with his spiky hair and smug grimace who made you spill your chocolate milk in the cafeteria and the entire school laughed at you while your lunch was sogging wet and your favorite Reebok shirt was ruined. Doug Park wasn't allowed to take your best friend, but he did. And that was the last time you had a best friend. Until now. The Audi Revenge will never leave you, and it gets 30 miles to the gallon in the city. The city. Ah, yes, the city, where Doug Park the attorney now lives in his cozy downtown loft that he leaves every morning at 8:34 to walk to work and crosses Exchange Street at 8:47. The new Audi Revenge can manage rough terrain with ease, even if you happen to hit something unexpected. Not your fault. He was jaywalking, and the Audi Revenge can keep a secret. Best friends always do. Come on down to Big Eddie's Audis on Front Street and test drive one of our fully loaded cars. And don't forget to stop in and get free hot dogs on Saturdays. Horoscopes. Gemini. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't. But if you paid your tithe, you're good, bro. Taurus. If you've been hiding your feelings, now is the time to tell someone what's on your mind. Go ahead. I'm listening. Yes, I can listen and check Facebook at the same time. Virgo. He is into you for all the wrong reasons. But you're not really a catch, so... Aries. In a few moments, you will say something really impressive. Don't mess this up. Libra. I would probably stop scratching at it if I were you. Sagittarius. I can't imagine anyone actually agrees with you. It's not like you know anything about the mating rituals of a Stegosaurus. Capricorn. I ordered a medium French fry and a large Dr. Pepper, you dolt. Aquarius. Spend a long weekend and get away from it all. A trip to the countryside would do you well. You could use some time to think about the horrible, horrible things you've done. If I missed your horoscopes, I'm sorry. The stars aren't saying anything else right now. I guess you'll have to live by your own accord. If your birthday is today, keep this in mind. Haters gonna hate. Players gonna play. You just have to shake. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Get it off of you. It's starting to burrow into your skin. Keep shaking. I can see its tiny pinchers digging. For the love of God, what is that thing? Wait. Oh, no, you got it. There it is on the floor. See what? Oh, it was just a black fuzz. I'm sorry about that. I hope your birthday's the best. Today's horoscopes were sponsored by Darwinism, which reminds us, if you don't like who you are, then change. Christopher here, signing off for the Norka News. Believe it, or else.
The Norka News, Believe It or Else, is produced by Strangely Attractive Productions. It is created and written by Kurt Clyden and edited by Brian Hollingsworth. The voice of the Norka News is Christopher Heisey. The entire show is written, recorded, and mixed in Akron, Ohio. If you want to go to the show's website, take out a marker and write on your computer screen, norkanews.com. Music is by the Beyonderers, an awesome band straight out of Akron. Information about upcoming shows and new music is at thebeyonderers.com. If you want to show your support for the show, you can tweet about us, review it on iTunes, give it a thumbs up on Facebook, donate lots of money, or send a letter via carrier pigeons. If you want to submit a story to the show, hey, that's cool too. Email it to submissions@norkanews.com. Yes, we have a computer here, and it receives electronic transmissions. And thank you for listening to the show. See you next month.